I am a black atheist living in the South who is a former Democrat. Even though I am an atheist, I can see the merits and values that religion gives certain people. I don't agree with the medium in which the message is given, but that is beyond the point. I am also against big government regulation, because I don't think they should be granted so much power just going on past events. Recently, while listening to a close friend, I told him that my ideals and views align more closely with conservatives, and he immediately told me that I couldn't be one because I'm an atheist. So my question to you is, can an atheist consider himself a conservative? That's from Jason.
Hey, Jason, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Stefan?
My spirits, the lighting in my studio, my happiness at chatting with you. So, wow, you really are breaking some ranks here, aren't you, brother? It's very cool. Tell me, were you raised religious? How did you get on the atheist bandwagon?
Yeah, I was raised Baptist, and but my parents, I was raised with my father. Like, my dad pretty much raised me and my brother by himself. I know, breaking even more stereotypes. Single dad.
Holy God!
I know.
Does he not know how to read statistics?
I know. And then my dad was pretty. He was kind of like, he was religious, but he was pretty nonchalant about it. And my grandma was really the one who kind of like drove us to like be in Sunday school and everything, and to get baptized. And then my dad, he kind of made me become an atheist, because when we were kids, he always kind of made us like study and become educated and always question things. And when I was a teenager, I just pretty much started questioning religion, and I didn't really find it that logical. So I like kind of like started the path of me becoming an atheist. And then when I was in college, I dated a pastor's daughter, and that kind of just even drove me even further to it.
You're the guy in the song. Okay, now I know. Now I know. Married a preacher's daughter. All right. So wait, you dated a pastor's daughter. Was that like a serious relationship?
Yeah, it was when I was a freshman in college, and it lasted like 3.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Did she know you were an atheist?
Yeah, she hated it. She kept trying to convert me. Like,
Dude, I gotta ask you, Jason, how good looking are you?
I'm okay. I mean, I think the main thing is that like what helps me get girls is like I'm very I would be considered, I guess, smart, and then I think I have pretty good confidence when I'm talking to girls.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, for the pastor's daughter to go out with an atheist, man, you got to have something in your back pocket, so to speak. So maybe a front pocket, I don't know. But all right, what happened at the end of it? Were you guys thinking of going further, or?
Um, yeah, we thought about it, because I mean, we also had like a pregnancy scare too, so that really made us like really think about like making it like become married. And I mean, we really cared for each other a lot, but it was just like, it was kind of like the religion thing was a big part of it. And then also just my like certain views I had too kind of started a lot of arguments too.
Sorry, the which views?
Like just like because my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, she was Hispanic, and just yeah, just like my views on like immigration and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
And then at the time,
Wait, did she have Hispanic in-group preferences by any chance?
yeah, pretty much. And then she was also
Right.
like Hispanic, and she was pretty racist towards like other people, because like at our university, it's like very diverse, and we have like Muslims, Indians, Asians, like foreign exchange students. She was like very racist towards like Asians, pretty much for the most part.
Wait, do you mean Indians or like Chinese and
Indian, Indians.
oh, Indians?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's the Asian thing is always kind of confusing. I like the categories where I don't have to remember geography. East Asian. I don't know. Is that right? Who knows? That's why Oriental was still okay, but fine.
Yeah.
So she was a racist towards Indians, and so things kind of petered out. And it's true. I was in a relationship when I wasn't dating her exactly. We were kind of hanging out a lot together, and yeah, she was a nice young lady and all that, but Christian. And I just, my argument was, if we ever were to get together, I mean, you could be Christian. I mean, but the kids would have to decide for themselves. And she's like, nope, got to raise them in the church.
I know that was a
It's like,
problem
oh,
with my
sorry,
relationship.
deal breaker. But so you went from religious Baptist-y, and then you went to atheism. Now, the former Democrat, did the Democrat stuff kind of coincide with the atheism to come before or later?
Actually, the Democrat came like a year ago. Because I mean, before like, and then I started. Because I mean, Like I'm a science major, and one thing they always teach us, kind of like gospel, I guess, is like to always question things, always question like both sides, always question how they got their data, how they got their evidence. And then I just started like kind of looking at both sides, like of the like liberals and the left, and just like the points they were making. And just like before, like I was like, very pro like Black Lives Matter, and like I also like when I was growing up, I think I was kind of racist towards white people too, be just like the things I was taught like growing up black, and the things they would tell me about like white people, and then things I was seeing in the media, and just think that like, white people were just oppressing us. Then I just started like thinking about it and thinking about like what the real issues that are affecting black people are, black people behind, and it just kind of like changed my views on everything.
Oh, so like white people wake up and your life goal is like tan
Yeah.
badly and oppress blacks, right?
Pretty much.
This is all we do. We just like this is written on our mirrors. Make sure you oppress people who look different from you today, or you just haven't earned your lack of melatonin.
Yeah,
Anyway,
make sure to sure too.
melanin. So okay, well, I'm certainly glad that you're over that, and I appreciate that we're able to have this conversation. So you went Democrat, right? Was it? You said about a year ago?
Yeah, yeah, because I used to like at first I used to support Bernie Sanders, then his whole thing. Then I just saw like the Bernie Sanders people, what they do, and then kind of like his message, and it was just oh my god. So yeah.
And then see then you're really crossing into virgin territory for everyone, right? Not just because you're black. I mean, I don't care about that, but the atheist who rejects leftism. Let me tell you something. It can be a little bit of a lonely caravan across a pretty wide
tell me
desert.
about it. Especially
So
with
yeah, how did
atheists.
the Democrat stuff begin to crumble away? I mean, you sort of said looked into Bernie Sanders. Oh my God! But let's unpack those syllables just a little bit. How did that begin to like crumble down for you?
Just like how like pretty much well, my view is that how they use black. Usually, I feel like they just use black people as kind of like they're like their little slave puppy or attack doll, just to use for like to get votes, and also used as like hey, I'm not racist. I got the black people behind me, so you guys should be behind me too. And it's like I feel like it's just counterproductive for like my people. Just the whole things the Democrats preach to them and promise them. Just pretty much promise them free shit. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to try. You don't have to earn anything. Just fucking sit on your ass and we'll give you stuff. Sorry if I curse. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's
But
fine.
yeah, and it was
Yeah, that's the least trouble I have with the stuff you're describing. The swear word is the least. Right, but didn't you know that the only Uncle Toms are on the right? Maybe you're not aware of this, Jason.
I know.
Clearly, I'm going to have to instruct you on how to be black because you're just not getting it right.
I know, like I saw like a like one of my friends posted something and it said like I don't support everything Donald Trump is like stands for or he says, not everything he stands for, just everything he says. But I mean, I think he's a lesser evil. But one thing they said was Donald Trump was never considered a racist until he was like running against a liberal. I mean, running against Democrats, and that's what I feel like with like black people. It's like I feel like it's like a whole bunch. It's these hardwired responses they have if you don't agree with them, and it's these barriers you gotta get over. It's like the first barrier is first they call you a racist, but if you're black, they can't say that, so they have to say you're Uncle Tom, or you're not informed on black culture, or you're not black enough. And then if
You're an Oreo. Is that still used, or am I like way out of date?
And seriously, because like, and then I'm light skinned and I have like curly hair and I don't look full black. You don't know how much shit I got growing up from black people. Like I think it's kind of crazy when people talk.
Okay,
about
wait. The fact is, Jason, I have no idea what kind of shit you went through when you were growing up from black people. Obviously, not being a light-skinned, somewhat black person myself. But what do you mean? So, what happened with you growing up with black people?
Like, okay, because one thing I always hear black people talk about is that we need more educated black people. We need more black people doctors. And like I'm a biology major trying to be a doctor. But growing up is like the most racism I ever like received is from other black people saying that, oh, you're not really black, you're not full black, you don't look black, why is your hair like that? Or like me and my friends, like we were pretty nerdy, and it was like, oh, you guys are making grades, you guys are fucking nerds, you're losers, ha 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 ha. Look at you trying to pass your test, and it's like, are you serious?
Wait, that was the insult? Look at you trying to pass your test? Oh, you're kidding me. Yeah. Oh, Jason, don't make me cry, like right here in the show. What are you, just trying to like pass a test? That's the big insult?
Yeah. And it was just like, it's just from like other black people too. I was like, Jesus Christ. But okay. Or like, oh, and because like, I feel like we went through like a little emo phase. We listened to rock music and stuff and that shit too. Like, oh, you're not listening to rap. Like, you're not even like, you're not giving.
Well, you have to listen to rap and fail your test.
Yeah.
It's like a cultural thing.
and like
You're not black enough because it looks like you might succeed.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You gotta
Oh
and
God.
have
Oh
no.
no.
It's like it's mandatory to have a fucking sleeve tattoo, and like most of your pictures, you gotta flip off
A what tattoo?
like a sleeve, like your whole your whole arm tatted out, like in tattoos and stuff.
Oh right. Okay. I knew that. Sorry, I just forgot my hood origins for a moment, but I'm back now. Wait, I can't do that with a British accent, can I? I can't do that with a white accent. All right. Oh man, that's rough. That's rough. Now, the friends that you said were nerdy, were they like other blacks hiding out from?
Yeah, they were like they're pretty.
Who didn't want you to
They're
succeed?
like your typical like black anime fan, who's like into video games and stuff too.
Wow. Was this? I know. I mean, obviously, this is coming from your peers. Was there any like were their parents like good for you and if you could talk to my son, or was it like totally like, yeah, he looks like he might pass a test, let's get him?
Oh no, not really from the parents. I didn't really like talk to their parents. Like yeah,
Right. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that. I
nah,
mean,
it's fine, it's whatever. But I was just the
No,
observation
it's
I
not.
made.
It sucks. It sucks. Come on. It would have been nicer to have a little bit more community support, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but I mean, the definition of community, I don't know if you could qualify the black community as a community, but yeah.
Okay. I'm willing to kick over this rock and see what's underneath it. Why wouldn't we call I have some idea, but obviously I'm not going to guess.
The community,
why would we
like
call it
the
a community?
people, they have certain goals. They have like certain ideas. Like they work together to help each other, and I don't
like shared values kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't feel like I think you touched on this in one of your other videos, and you had like a woman on talking about like the fall of black people, and yeah, like I don't think we really work towards each other. You break down, you just like we just attack each other, and we break each other down, and it's just like it's kind of like a feeding frenzy, like with it.
Is there danger in that? I mean, physical danger. I mean, obviously there's some scorn and some sort of tearing you down emotionally or intellectually. Was there any physical danger in that? In other words, did you fear that if you sort of went against the not exactly highest standards in the black community, that you might be physically attacked as well, or was it mostly emotional?
Of course. I feel like with one thing I noticed is like usually if they have no point to make, they get aggressive and they like violently like they get in your face to try to attack you. But I don't know. It's just how it was where I was growing up at. Like, it was like, fights were like pretty normal at our school and altercations and stuff.
And those are like some real fights, right? Not like the two anime kids swatting each other in the face like butterflies, right?
Yeah,
but like
yeah, a lot of, there was multiple times the freaking cops threw like tear gas at us at the cafeteria.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Tear gas?
Yeah, I know. I think it was that cop was kind of an asshole, but yeah. He threw tear gas at us. So like, I know one time he like jacked a kid up by his throat on like one of the doors. But yeah.
What did your parents say about this culture that you were? I wouldn't say in, but was around.
Oh, black. Like my dad, he has a very like kind of like he's just very like nonchalant and just chill about everything. Like when I told him I was atheist, he was pretty chill about it. And like when I told him how like I don't really agree with like Black Lives Matter, he was pretty chill about it. He was just kind of more just like open to my ideas because he knows that like when I make decisions, I think about it critically. And I just don't just go on emotion or anything. And then my mom is pretty much like just your typical like she just makes like excuses and apologize for everything that black people do, and she doesn't really hold them accountable for anything. So yeah.
What do you mean?
Like
give me examples then.
Like just like with the whole like I think one time I was talking to her about like the Michael Brown case, and I was just telling her about how like I think they made a fair ruling on that case, and she was just pretty much just going into like, oh, that's not true, like cops always abuse us or oppress us, or like black people, or they like we're still recovering from slavery, or just stuff like that. And it's just, oh my god, like seriously.
Right. Okay. So she sort of because of historical injustices and so on, like the standards of behavior and so on are kind of lower, right?
Yeah. Well, she's just pretty much making an excuse like the reason why black people act this way, or the reason like we're not succeeding is because of X, or yada yada yada, just stuff like that.
And X, I'm going to guess, or tell me if I'm wrong, Jason, but is X kind of like external factors? Like
Yeah.
it's not like, well, you know, we
Yeah.
could put more of an emphasis on education. We could work on keeping families together more. We could raise aspirations for, say, passing a test. Is it always the outside the Black community stuff, or is there stuff within the Black community where they'd say, you know, we could work on this, right?
It's always outside. It's always.
Oh man, I was hoping you weren't going to
I
tell
mean,
me that.
we both-
Oh, come
both
on,
know
Jason,
that.
let's rewind it. Just lie to me, okay? I'll give you $5. Just lie to me. I'll be happy about it. Right.
It's the white
Right.
devil, Stefan. The white devil.
Apparently, I have that. I have that reputation. Former Democrat, and now the question is around conservatism. So tell me what you mean by conservative. It's one of these stretchy phrases, but what does it mean to you, Jason?
Like I don't really want like big government regulations. I don't really want people telling me what to do. I don't want people like getting into my business for the most part. And that's pretty much like what I get out of it. Well, the way I see it. But I don't really even tie it to religion though. Because I mean, yes, I'm atheist, but I mean, I don't see religion as like Christianity. I don't see it as like a really like a bad thing. Just it can be used bad.
Right. Oh, there's lots of things in Christianity I would agree with. And fortunately, Christians have focused on a lot of the things that I agree with, particularly in America, somewhat lately. You know, a little bit less of the sort of kill gay stuff from the Old Testament, a little bit more love thy neighbor stuff from the New Testament, which is obviously the Christ in Christianity is pretty important as far as that goes. So why do you think it's attractive to you? I mean, obviously, good intellectual arguments, which we could go back and forth on, but I find it interesting. I mean, you're a young man. You came from a different perspective. Then, was there something like emotionally compelling about the sort of free market stuff, smaller government stuff? As you say, I like the way you put it. It's don't want people in my business.
Yeah.
Was there something emotionally when you came across these ideas that drew you to it, or was it mostly like the intellectual arguments that won you over?
A little bit of both. I mean, just because like the way I see it, well, it's just a lot of the points that they make that I agree with, or a lot of conservatives that I follow. Like a lot of I don't agree with all their points, but the main idea and goal, like I agree with it.
Yeah, but that's not the emotional side. So was it mostly like, because I mean, I'll just tell you for myself, Jason, like one of the things that really drew me to small government to no government, free market and stuff is that I treasure self-ownership. Like I want to be 150% responsible for who I am and what I do, because that's the only way I can legitimately earn pride. You know, we all have that temptation to ascribe failures and almost never successes, to ascribe failures to an external source. It's a great temptation because it gives us this short-term emotional relief of not self-criticizing, of not self-attacking for mistakes that we might have made. Oh, you know, I'm just a leaf tossed in the stream of other people's prejudices, and so I'm going to externalize the causes of my failures. Really tempting. But I recognize the danger in that, which is that if you do that, you then can't claim success and pride in your success. So I don't want to give away an inch of failure because I want to take 150% pride in my successes. And I know it's just one big dial, right? If you dial up irresponsibility, you dial down pride. They work in opposite things. And I want all of that self-responsibility. And I hugely treasure and fiercely guard the idea of moral pride in a good conscience. And the problem, like one of the things that really emotionally got to me was the idea that if, okay, my money's going to be taken from me by force, it's going to be put into causes. And even if I agree with those causes, I can't claim any virtue because I'm being ordered to do something. I'm being forced to do something. I want to have the moral pride of sovereign consciousness. I'm going to make the decisions. I'm going to succeed or fail. I've got nobody to blame but myself. I'm going to be a good person and I'm going to earn it. And it's going to be something that I dedicate myself to. I'm not going to blame others. I'm not going to praise others. It is my sovereign ship of self that I'm going to sail into the glorious sunrise of a good life. And the degree to which the government forces me to go here and forces me to go there and threatens me with this and bribes me with that and bullies me with the other is the degree to which my self-ownership, my conscience is all just shattered and spun away. And that has always really, really bothered me because I get one life and I don't know how long it's going to be, but I damn well don't want to be ordered around because I lose the most precious part of myself, which is my moral pride.
Yeah, you couldn't say it any better. But yeah.
Wait, I'm going to start again and try. No, I'm just kidding. As a beluga.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
for the most part. And then just seeing how what like the result of like just trusting the government to do the right things or to do the regulations, and just how it just all falls apart, and it just is pretty much counterproductive.
Now, do you mind if I ask you to completely betray your heritage? Would it be all right if I just dip into that? It's not your heritage, anyway.
Go for it.
Well, I mean, there are theories out there, and this is from economists of every ethnicity. But there are theories out there, Jason, of course, that says that, as you say, we promise you free shit and all that. I mean, that do you think that this stuff has done as much damage to the black community as some people fear it has?
I think it's like one of the main driving like forces today that's hurting black people. This and the false narrative that's being preached.
You mean the like white devils keeping you down kind of stuff? Right. Okay, so can you, just what damage do you think it's doing? And it's tough for I'm in Canada, can't really see it, but what would you reveal if if I asked what's the damage being done?
Well, I think it's just pretty much a whole bunch of bad incentives. It's incentivizing people to be lazy, not to work hard, not to strive to be successful or anything. Because I mean, like, just for instance, like my mom, she grew up pretty poor, and now she pretty much gave up her family and gave up being a part of me and my brother's life growing up to focus on her career. And now she makes really good money, and she's taxed like out the ass for it. And then my cousin, and then I have a cousin.
That is a category, right? That's like a category, just like super rich, out the ass.
Yeah.
And right, okay, got it.
Pretty much. And then I have a cousin who's like probably like 7 years older than me, and she has no college degree. She has like 3 kids, and pretty much she lives on government housing, and she's living in a house that's like twice as big as my mom's house. And everything is given to her, like everything. Her whole house is furnished. She has all these things just because the government's giving it to her because she doesn't have a job and she has kids.
And if she gets married, then the government gives less to her, right?
Yeah, I know, and it's an incentive not to get married. But yeah.
Right, and it is, as you know, pretty brutal in the black community, right? The kids growing up, you know this better than I do, but the kids growing up without dads and how much challenge they have. Just, they're growing up without dads. They don't know how to be men instinctively just by having a man around. And then they're told that, their whole society, the whole structure and hierarchy in their society just hates their guts and wants to oppress them and keep them down. It's like, man, you couldn't create a witchery brew of failure more if you tried.
I know, and I really see it too. Like when I think about like my dad, because my dad's like the best I could ever ask for. Like everything he's done for us, and like pretty much just working his ass off like since we were kids, and he pretty much raised us as a single dad. And it's just then I look at like how some of my friends who didn't have dads, like how they turned out, or like I have a stepbrother and he didn't have a dad, and all he had was like his mom, and then he had my dad, but it was like whenever he would do anything bad and my dad would try to reprimand him, his mom would like just get angry and try to stop it and make excuses for him. And now he's just pretty much like a man child who's like almost going to be 30. And he has a kid who's like about to be in middle school, who has like no support from his father, no really support from his grandparents. And it's just crazy.
Does he have a job?
No, he's collecting unemployment. He's been unemployed for like, I think a year now or something. I don't even know. Like, I don't even try to ask about it because it just pisses me off.
What happened to his, dare I say it, baby mama? What happened to the mother of his kid?
They're both fuck ups. But I mean, the mom, I think the mom, I don't even know what she's doing. I think she was in school at one point, but I don't think she's even in school anymore. But pretty much he has like no really stable like father or mother figure. And he's just pretty much they kind of just handed him over to his grandparents to like raise him.
Yeah, now that's not uncommon, right?
Yeah, it's very common. It's very common.
I mean, especially if the dad's in jail or something like that, and if the mom has any kind of substance abuse, not to overly, stereotype or whatever, but I read about this a lot, especially with the kids, the black kids who end up in trouble with the law. It's like parents AWOL, but man, some grandparents stepped in, and it's.
And then another thing, I mean, like just like with stereotypes, I mean, like it gets to a point where I just like, is it really bad to call it a stereotype if a large percentage of it is actually true? If a large percentage of this group is actually like living up to it?
I think if you acknowledge the exceptions, I think we do have to generalize, right?
I know what I'm saying, but the exception, like, I mean, just like I had this argument like recently with like a black person when I said that like we're not that educated, we're not that smart, like we're not doing much like as a whole. And she said, yes, but they're all black people that are smart and educated. I was like, yes, but that's a minority and a minority. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's a minority and minority. And like, I mean, like, I feel like if we look at other like races and minorities, I mean, we should look at Asians. Asians are fucking killing the game. They're killing it. Like, they're the best. But instead, like,
I'm obviously completely terrified of them as well, because they will be our eventual overlords. And I'm actually getting more comfortable with that as time goes along. So I'm just kidding. No, Asians are killing it, and you know, the income and the IQ stuff. I mean, they are beating the pants off the rest of us. So, you know, I'm with you there. And I admire that. I mean, some of it is maybe biological, but man, that culture is. You know, they don't screw around when it comes to advancing in education and having high aspirations, right?
I know. Just like I think in one of your videos, you said that like, what if there was a group that couldn't make any excuses? All they had to do was succeed. And I think that's the result of Asians. They can't make any excuses. All they can do is succeed, and they come from a culture where they praise hard work and education.
Right, and their families stay together, and they, you know, I think they're still a little harsh on their kids, although they're a lot easier on their kids than the black community is. I mean, tell me, I mean, you know, the studies that I've read about black community is, you know, a pretty heavy hand used in raising these kids a lot.
It's like with beatings. I mean, yeah, me and my brother, our dad, he did like whoop us and stuff. I don't know. I feel like my dad was like, I feel like he's a minority, I guess, in that, because I mean, he was a very like loving and caring. And I remember times where he would whoop us, but after he whoop us, he would tell us why, and he would actually be sad. So I remember times he would cry after whooping us because he said he hated doing it. He was just trying to teach us right from wrong. But yeah.
Well, I was reading the other day that, you know, to give your dad some slack here, I was reading the other day that about 65% of parents, if they had a better solution than weapon, that's what they do. You know, and that actually gave me quite a bit of comfort that at least there are a lot of parents out there who are like, well, this is all I know. I think this is the best. But if someone can come up with something better, man, I'm all ears. And I really like hearing that, because it also helps, you know, motivate me to do the stuff that I do to get the peaceful parenting message out, because it means that if people can hear better options, they're, you know, almost 2/3 of people are open to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course you could be an atheist and a conservative, because I think that as far as the free market goes, it's a rational position. It's the free market simply says that self-ownership and property rights are universal, which means that there shouldn't be one tiny little group of people who can order everyone else around at the point of a gun. You can't create this tiny minority of people or a small minority of people who can use all the force they want in the universe, whereas everyone else has to respect property rights and the non-aggression principle. So with regards to the free market stuff, all it is consistency. And universalism, right? Which, you know, as a scientist, it's kind of key. If you've got a theory that's not universal, it ain't science, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's a consistent position to be pro-free market. It's a consistent position. I think atheism is a consistent position. I am, of course, warming to some of the cultural necessity and moral necessity of religion, and in particular, Christianity. Not because it's necessarily superior to the other religions, but it certainly is the one that's embedded in the West the most, and we do need something to get us off our asses and get us defending our culture. So I think, yeah, it would be kind of weird if you were into consistency in science, you were into consistency in universalism in your atheism, and then suddenly you just created this giant exception in the realm of economics. So no, not only do I think it's possible with regards to conservatism and the free market, I think it's an absolutely admirable commitment to consistency.
I know that's, and then with like, I feel like with just like with like, say with capitalism, I feel like it's one place where like racism really, like race doesn't really matter. All it matters is just like making money and being the best.
Yes, I think that's true. And you know, the great tragedy of race relations now is the degree to which it's all run by the government and funded by the government, which is all about creating divisions and setting us against each other and all this kind of crap. Like with regards to race, I was just thinking about this today. You know, obviously think about the cause and try and sort out some kind of coherent conversation before I chat with you, Jason. But I was just thinking today about how, like, you know how, I don't mean to sort of pick on your mom, but you know how you were talking about like Michael Brown, you think, okay, it's a decent, you know, it's a decent verdict given the facts and so on. And then your mom like rushes in with like, well, but slavery and different standards, right? Different standards. I think we'd all get along a hell of a lot better if we just all had the same standards. In other words, that people didn't have like one standard for white people, which for the black community can sometimes be kind of negative, and then people didn't have another standard for the black community, which, whites and blacks, I think it's really tragic, that old phrase, the soft bigotry of low expectations. If we just had one standard for everyone, I think we'd feel that things are kind of fairer, and I think we'd all get along a lot better, but people don't like it when there are different standards for different groups, because the people who have lower standards feel that it's kind of justified. The people who have higher standards sometimes feel ripped off. And I mean this with regards to your mom as well. Like, she can't be that happy working her butt off and then paying massive amounts of taxes so they can be scooped up and handed over to your stepbrother and, the mess he's making.
Exactly. And then, so I had this conversation with someone recently, because, just like how, seriously, recently with all my friends on social media, they're going crazy over the whole Jesse Williams speech that he made on BET. And they're talking about we need black equality and stuff. And then I just simply just said, okay, if you guys want black equality, it needs to be equal for everyone. Because we have privilege, we have affirmative action, we have scholarships geared towards us, we have programs targeting just us. And I just told one of my friends, could you imagine just growing up white and having everything and having an unstable family, growing up dirt poor, having a single parent, and then you go to college and there's no scholarships good for you. You have to compete with everyone in your pool. And then I was oh, I never thought about it that way. Seriously, and I don't know. I think it's just crazy.
Dude, you're a fucking hero. You know that, right? You're a fucking hero. I'm telling you straight up, man. That is a great thing to say, in my opinion, right? I mean, it jolts people into thinking things differently. It takes them out of their narrative, right?
I know, because seriously, before, I never even thought about it until I came to college and I met one of my friends. And he's he's white, and he grew up dirt poor. He has a shitty family. His dad committed suicide. His brother committed suicide. His mom's very unstable. And now he couldn't even graduate with us because he was so in debt that he couldn't continue. That he had to drop out of school and go work just to pay off his debt, just to come back and get in more debt just to graduate. And it's just, I know. And then dude, he won't get any pity or he can't make any excuses because he's white. And he's just in this shitty situation. I mean, the fact that he's lazy too doesn't help. But I mean,
listen,
yeah.
Oh, come on, man. If a guy has a childhood like that, I think lazy might not be. He might just be stressed and traumatized from his history, right? I mean, that's some harsh stuff.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, seriously, he's in the STEM field with me. He's an engineer major, and he's one of the smartest people I know. And then it's just dude, it just sucks that he can't. I'm saying I was lucky enough. I have some college debt, but compared to everyone else, my college debt is pretty low. And one reason is because I pay for most of my school. I pay for most of it because I work all the fucking time. And then I got a scholarship in science, but it was a scholarship that was geared towards black people, and black people in science. And it's not that much competition for black people in science. Just saying. I feel when I've got that scholarship, if it included everyone, including the Asians, the Indians, and everyone, I don't think I would have got it then. But because it was just only for black.
None of us, Jason. None of us are going to college if it includes the Asians.
Yeah, I know.
How many Asians are going to go?
Seriously.
No. So wait. So the scholarship that you got was targeted for black young men and women in the STEM field. Is that right?
Yes.
Right. Well, that's some privilege, right? I mean, that's.
I'm benefiting from it, but I can admit and acknowledge that it's fucking wrong. It's not right.
Right. Well, or at least you can say that there could be some criticism of it that people can understand and say it's automatically white privilege is, maybe a little premature because, what was it? Recently, the Supreme Court upheld affirmative action, said they're going to revisit it in 25 years. It's well. That's a whole bunch of Asian kids and white kids who aren't going to get into college.
I know.
And it's hard to sell privilege to people who are excluded from the institutions that their forefathers founded, however fairly or unfairly, because people want to hit certain numbers. It's a tough case to make that it's a lot of privilege on the other side of the fence, so to speak.
I know. It's just thinking about this stuff. It's just very annoying. And it just makes. It gives me a headache after a while. Because seriously, I was arguing with one of my. It wasn't even a friend. I was arguing with someone, and his point he was trying to make is why we need reparations. And I was like, "Are you serious? Seriously, we need reparations. We already have all this shit, and you want more shit to add to the shit we have." But okay.
Yeah, how's free stuff been working out for every community that's tried it? There's old stories about, and it's not a black-white thing. There's old stories about how when the Irish came across, I can say this because I'm half Irish, but anyway, Irish Shield. But when the Irish came across, they decided to go into government, and they decided to go into the priesthood, and they decided to go into being cops and all that kind of stuff. And they, got into politics, and they tried to jig as much money towards the Irish community and so on. It's a big, broad brush stuff, but it really happened that way. Whereas the Japanese, when they came across, they really had nothing to do with government and nothing to do with the state and so on. And they just, worked like crazy. And what happened was, of course, Japanese income took off and Irish income just kind of stagnated. And, the fact that when people attach themselves to the state, they just don't tend to do well. Maybe a little bit in the short run, they do better, but in the long run, it's quite a mess. And I got to tell you, the idea of any group getting massive amounts of government money and thinking they're going to be better off, it's like, hey, more free heroin for your eyeball. I just don't think it's going to be good. It's like they've never heard of the natives.
Exactly. It's just like I think one of your recent podcasts you talked about how like Native Americans weren't even like native to here. They came from some like from Siberia or somewhere.
Yeah, and of course, the interesting thing, as I'm sure you're aware of, is that the blacks in America have the highest per capita income of blacks in the world. Haiti's been largely free of colonial dependence for like 400 years. And it's not exactly a paradise, to put it mildly.
I know. I'm saying.
So yeah, it's these challenges are going to be with us for a while. I hugely appreciate these kinds of conversations. We want to have honest conversations about race, and I really like the fact that we can have these kinds of conversations. It's what I was always taught we were supposed to have, so I'm glad that we actually can have them. And I really appreciate the work that you're doing, in your community to talk about people, your thoughts, your experience, your focus on the free market. I think it's going to really help people to just, we all get into this kind of groove, the way that we think, the way that we look at the world. And I love the stuff that helps you jump the tracks. And if you're out there doing that, which you are, Jason, that's like some great stuff. And I really appreciate what you're doing.
Thanks, Stefan. But I think I'm just the minority in a minority. Like, seriously. And when I bring up...
Yeah, but that's why we got to work to spread our ideas as wide as possible. And so, you keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and we'll meet in the middle.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. Well, thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, so much for this excellent, exciting, wonderful conversation that we have here. It's a wonderful part of my week. And you can go to freedomainradio.com/donate to help out the show. You can also use our affiliate link, fdrurl.com/Amazon. Follow me on Twitter @Stefan Molyneux, fdrpodcasts.com to help share the shows. And of course, if you're watching this on the video, you can like and subscribe and share to your very heart's content. And I really, really appreciate that, as I dare say the future will as well. So have yourselves a great, great evening, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.